Chapter 5. This Dreadful Putter. "Go on! Get it! Do it!" Feet poised, Ronald stood with his back to the cage. Dripping and glossy, Bill pranced and dodged before him, watching the ball. The boy made as if to throw, and again. Each time Bill jerked, staying where he was. He understood now to hold out for the actual toss, the real one. And he had also learned that if he waited but then finally barked, that made the boy throw. So now he barked, eyes locked, and the boy threw. The dog spun and took off over the deck. At pool's edge he launched himself, fully extended, landing as labs should land, with his head above water and legs already in motion. The mister was at the deep end, clapping, cheering him on. It was the best thing about children coming, the mister playing this way. So good, Bill thought, hearing shouts. This is best. He reached the ball, took it, turned, and began swimming for the shallow end. There were stairs there, the way out. Retrieving was just half the mission. You had to get the ball back, return it, drop it at the boy's feet. That way the game would go on as long as the boy had interest or strength, two things Bill never lacked. Again and again. The boy switched to the big ball, the one used with the net at the deep end. It was too big to grab, but Bill nosed and shoved it in front of him, trying to grab it, failing, trying, the thing bobbing. Sometimes he got a paw on it, then it popped away. But he went on trying. The boy's father liked shooting baskets, but had soon gone in to be with his new wife and the baby. Now there were just the three of them. He did not know where the girl was. "Okay, Grandpa's got something he has to do." The mister was working his way to the ladder. "Aw, not yet. Come on. Just another when I get back, Ron. I have to go to the funeral home. It's you, me, and Bill when I get back, okay? That's a promise." So it was over. Unlike Emma, Bill knew little of what was said around him. He had lived only with dogs his first year, in a kennel. A puppy mill it was called, where the litters were quickly weaned, the mothers mated over and over until used up, then destroyed. He and his litter mates had been a mistake, the result of a lab bitch and a Great Dane mix left unattended by the breeder's cousin. But Bill's instincts were excellent, and he had known the play would be over soon. He reached the stairs and splashed up. Paws firmly planted, he shook himself, and again. The boy was there, slapping his wet back, and the mister with the towel. Bill's towel, he called it, used to dry the dog before he was let inside. The boy ran through the opening as the mister rubbed. "How was that?" he asked. "Was that good?" "You bet it was. Just old Bill. Good dog. That boy's nuts about you." He understood only good. His name, Boy. But he knew the voice, its many ups and downs, loud or soft, knew the smells of anger and fatigue, eyes that made you look away or said, "Stay right here with me forever." They looked that way now. The mister had stopped with the towel and was cupping Bill's muzzle in his hands, looking at him. Vinyl didn't much like it, but sometimes Bill had to lick his face. He chanced it now, because water was his medium, and it made him think at such times. It was a thought. How good it was to have been dying in the woods, but to make a choice, come out of scrub undergrowth to follow this man into all that had come since. "Attaboy, you hold down the fort. We'll take the kids for a walk later." He stood, and Bill walked at his side through the open door wall. They were going somewhere, just the missus and mister. They were in the bedroom putting on different clothes. The missus smelled like flowers, talking before the mirror. The mister, too, smelled the way he did some mornings, like lemons. They were done. He followed them from the bedroom, glancing back through the house to the deck. The pool lay motionless. The water had changed color, and this troubled him. He turned away and followed the couple to the garage entrance. The mister looked down. "Not this time," he said. "Sit." Bill sat. "You hold down the fort," he said again. "Back in an hour." They went down the step and the door closed. From the other side came the rumble of the garage door. He looked back through the dark house. The car was backing out, and again came the rolling sound. Then nothing. He walked slowly toward the glass door wall, past furniture he mustn't scratch, couches never to be jumped on. He stopped before the glass. The bigger ball floated, and the long things they hit each other with. But the water was gray-green now, the grass beyond so dark. He whined, knowing what was coming. It came almost every day in the rainy season. Not like rain at the lake. Even alone in the woods, having escaped the kennel and sick from parasites in his intestines, he had not been afraid. There, rain had been just a pattering through trees, the ground beneath often staying dry. But here, when it rained here, everything disappeared beyond the cage. The golf course, the jungle rough. Even so, that wasn't what caused him now to whine and raise his paws, to salivate, looking out. Not now, Bill thought, not now. It was bad even when the mister was here, but if he left before the thunder... A seam, a sharp-edged broken white line, blinked and was gone. He spun from the glass and ran back through the house, seeing the girl a second with the toy in her hand before he scuttled, hindquarters low, back into the mister's bedroom. He flattened himself and was pulling, working his bulk under the bed when it came. Whining, he kept working as thunder kept coming, falling, dropping like the big barrels for trash, but much worse, terrible. Fully under the bed, he felt no safer. He felt safer when the mister was here, saying something in his calm voice, saying it was all right to hold on, that it would be over soon, just a squall, nothing to worry about. What did they know? Nothing of the man who shot at bottles behind the kennel, or the one who cut logs with something angry and loud. The same who put the weaker pups or mistakes in a sack and carried them to the lake. Except when he was curious. That's why Bill had lived. A mistake, but big. Who could say how big? Not all lab, but maybe a good retriever. A dog for home use instead of sale. Keep him in sea. The noise stunned him. Somewhere the baby was crying. Bill tried to flatten more, knowing he had done a bad thing. Nowhere to go, nothing to stop the sound. It moved the whole house, rattled windows. Again he felt himself doing the bad thing. Just because the mister always came back, how could you say he would come back this time? Thinking that was worse than the woods had been, cold and gray. Chased from garbage cans and dumpsters, boys throwing rocks, hands full of gravel. No, this was worse. The noise of it. But mostly the not knowing. "Where are you?" The wrong voice, not the Mr. or Mrs. The girl. But any voice at all gave relief, and he whined in answer. The thing they kept on the bed was raised. She was lying on her side, on the floor, looking at him. Still she held up the bedspread. "Are you scared?" He wished she would leave, let go of the cloth and leave him in darkness, not stare at him. But she went on doing it, saying nothing. And then the girl did something not even the mister ever did. With the noise going on, so loud he couldn't help the bad thing each time it crashed, she now covered herself with the cloth and stayed there. On her side next to the bed, she lay her head on the carpet facing him. She said nothing, no quiet words in the soft voice of the mister when he was like this. Even the missus knew how awful it was for him, getting down and raising the cloth, saying, "Poor guy, I don't like it either." But then she dropped the cover and left. Not the girl. She stayed, and as the baby cried somewhere, still Ruby studied him. It had never happened. For a moment he almost forgot the thunder. It was something in her face, like the Gilmore woman. Twice Glenda had come outside, for the moment not crying, circling the pool, Hotspur at her side. Her eyes had been like those in front of him now. Under the bed it was dark, but he could see her looking at him.